Okay, shall we move ahead? So we're in section 6.5. Okay, so the only difference, this is not much different. Section 6.5, which is the other section of homework tonight, I want to even get into 6.6, even though it's not due, will be, there's minuses, and these are subtracting rationals. Rationals is a fancy word for fraction. Ratio, rational, one thing over the other, ratio. So anyway, it's just subtracting fractions now. And so what does that do? Well, it actually can mess you up if you're not a little bit careful, because that minus sign, it has to go to both. It really distributes to both on that, not just the front part. It's an easy mistake to make. Now, why the top only, first off? Why not the bottom? Why does it go to the bottom? Well, we've learned that a negative in front of a fraction goes to the top only or the bottom only, but not both, right? Why not both? Because two negatives would be positive, right? Am I going too quick? Right? Does that make sense? So one more time. A negative in front of a fraction, like a negative in front of this fraction, goes only to the top or only to the bottom. And I don't want to go to the bottom because I'm trying to, they match. I don't want to mess up the common denominator stuff in the bottom. So I don't want to go to the bottom. So only to the top, not the bottom. I could go to the bottom, but it'd mess up the bottom. Not both, right? Okay, so you know that. So therefore, I take that negative sign that's in front of the fraction, I take it only to the top, and it becomes minus 8x plus 12, doesn't it? Is that good? And then the other one, just 9 doesn't change, 9x minus 8. The denominator, we need to factor that denominator, right? Can you do the FOIL factoring on that thing? 2 parentheses, x is in the front. What multiplies to be 28? What times what is 28? 4 times 7, and that adds to be 11 in the middle. Good there? Okay, so now 9x minus 8x is 1x. Minus 8 plus 12 is plus 4 over x minus 4, x plus 7. Good to there? We can cancel those x plus 4s now, huh? It's okay. I mean, it's glue, but we're buying the whole package. So Costco lets you buy the whole package, so it's okay. So I'm going to cancel x plus 4, x plus 4. Right? The 1, that 1's not doing anything. 1 times x is just x. That's just x plus 4, x plus 4. They cancel. It's okay. Remember, glued, yes, but you're buying the whole package, so that's okay. You just can't take part of a glued package, right? So what do we get then? We get 1 over x plus 7. We're done. That good? Questions on that one then? So the main point, what's different in this section is we're subtracting now. And with subtraction, you got to remember to distribute to both because you're subtracting the whole fraction on the right, not just the front part. That's the common mistake, is to put the negative only on the 8x. But it has to also go back and hit the negative 12 to make that plus 12, huh? And then the rest is the same. Just finish the top, cancel that out, 1 over x plus 7. All right. So what do we have there? We have x minus 2 over x minus 4x minus 5 over 7x. All right, so you know what, I would do the minus thing. It's so easy to make a small mistake there. Let's do the minus thing first. I'm going to take that minus and go boom, boom, and distribute to both. So what does that do? That makes this minus 4x plus 5. Everybody good there? I'll bring down the other fraction, no change. And now in the middle, the minus is left. It went to the upper right. There's nothing in the middle. What sign is always there when there's nothing? Plus. Do you see why it becomes plus? Because there's a vacuum there. The minus sign has left. Is that okay? Is everybody tracking with me there? Everybody see what we did? So that's what I'm saying to do first. So on subtraction problems, first distribute the subtraction to the upper right and add, right? Change to add, because the minus sign has left. The minus sign has left, so change it to adding. The minus sign is gone. Everybody good? The rest is normal. Let me let you do the next step. Now it's just an adding problem, right? We just did 17 of them or 15 of them. We did a whole section of adding fractions. You know how to do it, right? This is the look at your neighbors and drive your neighbor's car around. Go buy what your neighbor has. Does your neighbor have a minivan?
Yes, but my mom, I have 3 kids and one on the way. And my mom thinks I should get a minivan, but I'm like, no, my Tahoe fits everybody perfectly fine. But she's like, it uses less gas, but I'm like, I don't care.
They only get like 20. I got a couple of them. They only get about 20 miles a gallon. They're nothing. What does a Tahoe get? 15?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot of difference. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure I would change cars.
No.
All right. So, but I want the Mustang my neighbor has. You know. For the gas mileage, no. All right, so multiply top and bottom by what's missing, right? So that they end up being the same. Like that. Good? So now the two denominators are the same? Is that good? Right? I gave him what he's missing. He was missing the 7. You don't need to do anything to the fraction on the right because he doesn't need anything. That good? Two denominators are the same. So now what? Common denominator is just 7x. Don't need to mess with that anymore. Finish the top though, right? Which means multiply, gather like term, clean up the top. So it's going to go boom, boom. 7x minus 14. Minus 4x plus 5. We good? So 7x minus 4x is 3x. Minus 14 plus 5, what is that? Minus 9 over 7x. We're done. Is that good? Questions on that one? So see what we did. What did we do? What's new? The only thing that's new is that first step, huh? So basically this whole section is the same as the last section except for the first step. The first step, well, there's going to be one other trick later, but basically the first step is the difference. You just take the minus sign and distribute to the upper right, changing all the signs in the upper right. 4x becomes negative 4x, negative 5 becomes positive 5, and then make it add. Why? Because the minus sign is gone. So now it's just adding a negative. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting. You see what we're doing? We're just adding a negative. It's the same as subtracting. It's just this way you won't forget to distribute the minus, which is a very common mistake. Then just finish like normal. All right. Okay, so this one's going to be a good one to do. oops, that's not right. 8 over z plus 5 minus 3 over z minus 5. So what's the first step on all subtraction problems? Upper right. Move that subtraction. Basically never subtract fractions. Never subtract. Never leave that subtraction symbol there. Always move the subtraction to the upper right. So it'll be minus 3. That'll leave nothing in the middle, so plus. Good. Now just do, right, now it's a problem from the last section. Now it's in adding fractions. So go ahead, do the neighbor thing, give them what they're missing. Top and bottom. All right, we doing good? What's this first one missing? This first one is missing z minus 5, top and bottom. The second one's missing z plus 5, top and bottom. Good? Then the 8 distributes. The minus 3 distributes. The bottom doesn't. We don't mess with the bottom, right? Once we've got the bottom common denominator, we leave it alone. We don't want to mess with that, but we have to finish the top because we have to combine everything, right? The tops are not the same, or we would leave them also. The tops are different and need to be combined. The bottoms are identical. Leave them, right? So 8z minus 40 minus 3z minus 15. Is that good? And then just finish combining like terms. So 8z minus 3z, what's that? 5z minus 40 minus 15 minus 55. There it is. You could factor a 5 out of that top, but it's not going to make anything cancel, so I'm not going to bother with it. Right? You know what I mean? You could take a 5 out, z minus 11, but who cares? Nothing cancels. So don't do it. You can't cancel the 5s on the bottom. They're glued packages, huh? So that's just it. Does that make sense then? So the only thing that's new, minus is in the middle, upper right. The rest is the same thing. You know, top and bottom, give them what they're missing. Finish up the top. No questions? Got it down? Am I okay if I flash off of that? Okay. So 7CF over C squared minus F squared minus C minus, oh, you know, I'm going to run out of room. Here, let me go up here. So 7CF over C squared minus F squared minus C minus F over C plus F. Okay. So what's first step? What's the first step on a subtraction problem? Upper right. Subtractions go to the upper right. So take that subtraction symbol and go boom, boom, to the upper right. Change all the signs up there. So minus C plus F. And what are you going to do with the c squared minus f squared, the other denominator? It's got to be factored. That's an FL, isn't it? Let's go ahead and factor that one. And then it's pretty much normal from there. It's going to be plus in the middle, right? The minus leaves. So there's nothing there, so it's plus. Right? We're adding a negative, which is the same as subtracting. This way we don't forget to distribute. So first step, subtraction, distribute to the upper right, change all the signs. Take it from there. Play the give them what they're missing game. Good. What the second one is missing C minus F. So give it C minus F top and bottom, right? See how the two denominators match now? Same, common. Next step, one fraction, because now we've achieved common denominator. So we don't need two separate, they're the same, they're common, make one big fraction. So now just finish the top, the bottom's done. Once you've reached common denominator, the bottom's done. Now finish the top. Seven, so one big fraction. And then we're going to have to FOIL that other one, right? Everybody seeing that? Right, minus C's go into both. Minus C squared plus CF. And then CF minus F squared. All right, we doing good there? So I follow. Now gather like terms. equals, I'm going to put it over here. What do we have? So I'm going to go 7 CF, 1 CF, and 1 CF. That's 9 CF. You can put these in any order. Minus C squared minus F squared. Over common denominator, C minus F, C plus F. We're done. Is that good on that? Questions I can answer on that? It's kind of a tough one. A lot to that one. So again, the only thing that's new in this section, subtraction in the middle, distribute to the upper right, then it's an adding problem, and the rest is the same, although not easy. Got to factor that one, top and bottom by what's missing, complete the top. Good. I'm only going to do a couple more of these. We're going to go to another section because these are more of the same. All right. Okay, so we have 3 over x minus 7 over minus x. What are we going to do? What are you going to do with that minus on the bottom there?
Instead of subtracting from the top, we can subtract from the bottom.
Yeah, well, we can just let that minus come out to the front. Remember, minuses in the top or bottom or wherever, they can just come to the front. Right? So I can just pull that minus to the front, and then it hits the other minus that's already out there. Oops, why did I make that 7 into 3? That's not right. Anyway, and then it's plus, isn't it? So the answer is 10 over x, and we're done. Is that good? So that minus on the bottom comes out to the front. Right? You with me? This minus right here comes to the front. Why did I put that? Like that, right? So that minus comes to the front. Then the two minuses make plus. You just add them up. They already have the common denominator. So these two minuses really just make plus, don't they? And you add them. It's an add problem. Good? That makes it, in the end, easy if you see the double trick. 2 minus z over z minus 7 minus 3z minus 8 over 7 minus z. Okay. Two things are going on up there. I'll let you copy that down. We got that minus in the front. You know what we're supposed to do with that thing. We're supposed to distribute to the upper right. But look right here. What needs to be done there? We got to turn that around, don't we? We have to turn around the order of those two. We don't want we don't want the letter in the back. We want the letters in the front. So what's going to make that turn around? Well, a minus sign, huh? Isn't that what we did last section, hour ago, right? Whenever we saw a letter in the back, what would we always do? We would come in and we'd say, oh, yeah, multiply top and bottom by minus 1, right? And then that minus 1 would go boom. Don't write this down. I'm going to show you a trick, but isn't this what we used to do? Minus 7 plus z, like that, which is the same as z minus 7. That would turn it around, right? Multiplying that minus 1, top and bottom, the minus on the bottom, boom, would turn around that denominator so that it matched the other, then they'd be common and we could finish. Right? Well, if a minus hitting the bottom, a minus 1, hitting the bottom does what we need to do, why do we got to bring in a brand new minus 1 top and bottom when we've already got a minus sign right here? Instead of letting that guy go to the top, which is what we normally do with a minus sign in front of a fraction, just let him go to the bottom. And he'll do the turnaround thing for you. Minus 7 plus z, z minus 7. He's no longer in the middle, so it's plus. Here, let me change Change the color up here. So it's plus. Everybody good there? You see what's happening? So the trick is when you got a minus in the front like that, normally those minus, we always distribute to the upper right, don't we? But we could go to the bottom. We've just not been going to the bottom because the bottom, we don't want to mess up the bottom. But in this case, we need a minus to go to the bottom. So rather than put a brand new -1 top bottom, just let that minus go to the bottom and do the job for you. You see that? He turns it around. I don't need to come in with a new -1 top and bottom, which is what I normally do when I don't already have a minus sign sitting in the front ready to go. So that's the trick. Just let that minus go to the bottom. Now, they match. Everything's good. So just combine like terms. Minus 1z plus 3z is 2z. 2 minus 8 is minus 6. We're done. You can factor that top. It's not going to go anywhere. If you take out the 2, nothing happens. Right? You can't cancel anything, so don't bother. That's the answer. Is that good? Everybody understand that trick? That making sense? You got a minus in the front, let it go to the bottom. If you need the bottom turned around and you have a minus in the front, let that one in the front just go down and do it. And he's not there anymore, it's plus. All right, let's try for you. So 1 minus x for x minus 3 minus 4x minus 7 over 3 minus x. So try that one. Got a minus sign in the front, and you need to have this denominator turned around. So let that minus sign do the trick for you. So let that minus go boom, boom. Minus 3 plus x. So that is x minus 3. Is that good? Good question I get sometimes, maybe you're wondering. What about this? Don't we need to turn this around? This has the x subtracted at the back also. No, because it's numerator. I don't care about stuff in the top. That's just all going to combine anyway. I just care about x's subtracted in the back in the denominator because I have to make them same, right? I don't care about x's subtracted in the top, in the back and the top. Who cares? It's just the denominator that's my concern, not the numerator. I'm not even looking up there right now. That'll just combine with like terms. So everybody see what I did? I just let that minus go to the bottom, change the signs. Now they match. Common denominator. So just x minus 3. Combine them. Minus x and 4x is 3x. 1 minus 7 is minus 6. Good? That's really the answer. You could factor that top as not going anywhere. It'd be 3 times x minus 2, and nothing will cancel with the bottom. So don't bother. Good? Did y'all get that one? You good with that? No questions? They get. Okay, so 14 has got 10 over 8x minus 1 minus 8 over 1 minus 8x plus x over 8x minus 1 plus x minus 8 over 1 minus 8x. Okay. All right. I'll let you go at it there. Plus there. So give that a try. So you got to make the denominators all match. Got to do some turning around and stuff there. Looks like. So this minus sign goes boom, boom. Turns that around, right? You good? You got just let that minus sign turn it around. But now what about this guy? There's no minus sign right there to turn that guy around. So what's going to turn that guy around? Yeah, you got to do -1 top and bottom. You with me? Does everybody see the difference here? This problem's good because it has both in the same problem. It's going to go boom, 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 -1 plus 8x. In other words, it turns it around. Everybody see that? See the difference? The second fraction has its own minus sign in front of it. Let it go down to the denominator right here and turn this one around for you. But the fourth fraction, which also needs to be turned around, has the letter subtracted at the back, needs to be turned around, does not have a minus sign in front. So you got to multiply top and bottom by -1. You can't just do the bottom. You with me, guys? So there's so many steps in math, and you want to try to get the reason why, because it's so much easier to remember. If the reason why this minus only goes to the bottom, and here we got to do 2 of them, is because I'm bringing these -1s in brand new. They weren't already there. Right? These -1s are something I put in there that were not part of the original question. Anything new you bring into a question has to be done with balance. Otherwise, you've changed the question. You with me logically? Does that make sense? So, and we're going to really use that here in about 3 minutes when we start the next section, where I'm going to be talking a lot about balance and how you bring things in. So you guys with me on that? This -1 and this -1 must be put top and bottom. Why? Because they weren't already there. There's something new that I put in. If I just put it on the top, I would change the question. You can't do that. You got to put it in with balance. Anything new you do to a problem has got to be done with balance, top and bottom. Whereas this subtraction, he was already there. I didn't put him there. He was already there. So I just let him do his thing. Right? It's not a balance. He's just already there doing his thing. Right? See the difference? Okay. So then what happens? Well, now they should all match. I just make it one big 8x minus 1, right? They all match. I've made them all 8x minus 1. So what do we have then? We have on the top we have 10. Grab this one. Now this minus is left. It's plus now. Where'd it go? It went to the bottom. So it's plus 8. Everybody see that? It's plus 8. Because that minus sign left and went to the bottom. So it's just a plus 8. Plus x. And what happens over here? This minus, remember, is distributing. Minus x plus 8. Everybody see that? Careful with all those signs. Bye-bye, 8x is 26 over 8x minus 1. Questions on that one? Is that good? Are we happy? All right. I leave that. Any questions? No questions? Is it all clear? So this minus in the second fraction went to the bottom. So he's not on the top anymore, so it's just a plus 8. On the fourth fraction, I had to do minus top and bottom because I didn't have a minus in the front. So on the top, it changed both sides. Minus x plus 8. Minus x plus 8. Right? And then I just finished the top. All right. With this section. 17, just to make sure. I'm just a little nervous you're not 100% comfortable with this. So let's do that one. So 1 over w plus 7 plus 1, w plus z, and plus 1 over z minus w minus 2w over w squared minus z squared. Now, do we need to turn things around? We do, right? It doesn't really technically matter which letter you have. You can have W in the front, you can have Z in the front. It doesn't really matter, but you got to be consistent, right? You don't want them different. You want to make them the same, right? Common denominator is my big goal here. So I want to make them the same. So why don't we turn the middle one around? Probably the easiest thing. Why don't we turn him around? Make him, that way they'll all have W in the front. So let's do that. So turn that middle one around. Multiply top and bottom by minus 1. Right? To get that middle one to turn around, boom, boom, be negative z plus w which is w minus z. Is that good for the first two? Now what happens with the third one? Yeah, factor. This denominator is w plus z, w minus z, huh? It's a FOIL. It's an FL actually, huh? An FL. Oops, what am I doing? Are you talking about right here? Yeah. Well, yes and no. Meaning, I went and hit that guy instead, making it -1, right? But if you're saying, well, I'm going to hit the plus sign instead and make this minus out here, you could, but then this would be plus. Either way, it's the same thing. Do you see that? But it's best. Having said that, you don't want remember we want never to have subtractions in the middle. Yeah, so I'm kind of made a mess out of this thing now. I'm not really going to mess with that sign in the front. Leave that a plus and just multiply the -1 to this guy. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I'm not multiplying that sign in the front. Really is probably the best answer I should have given you. You're not multiplying that sign in the front. Is that good? Now, what's going to happen with the signs back here? Well, what have we learned about minus signs? We never subtract. Where does that minus sign go? To the top or the bottom. If we need him in the bottom, he goes down there to turn something around. But I don't need anything turned around. This is good. So just let him go to the top. Minus 2w. Now it's plus, right? Because he left. Right? Everybody see that? So the minus in the middle goes to the upper right. Unless you need him to go down below to turn something around. And then he's gone and it's plus. Everybody good to there? Does that make sense how I got to there? So so in the middle I had to turn around the z minus w. So I multiplied top and bottom by -1. Turn that around. And then on the right, the minus sign goes to the top. Okay. Now, back to normal. Now it's a problem from the last section, right? So can you finish it from there? Give them what they're missing. Looking at their neighbors. What do the Joneses have? What do the neighbors have? So what's this one missing that other neighbors have? W minus z, top and bottom. What is the middle one missing that other neighbors have? W plus z. What is the right one missing? Nothing. This neighbor has everything. He's the neighbor that has it all. Right? Is that good there? Okay, so we have the common denominator. It's w minus z, w plus z. We've made the three denominators the same. They're the same. Common, 1 bar, right? Now just finish the top. So the 1 goes boom and a boom. W minus z. The negative 1 here goes boom and a boom, minus w minus z. And here, it's just -2w. Plus a minus 2, it's just minus 2w. So w minus w, those cancel. Minus 1z minus 1z is minus 2z minus 2W over W minus Z, W plus Z. Everybody good? So I finished the top, gathered like terms in the top. Right? Is that okay? The W's canceled, W minus W, and then minus Z is minus 2Z, minus 2W over the common. Are we done there? Yeah, you see there's a little trick. We can do one more step. So let me bring it over here. This is a little tricky one. Minus 2Z minus 2W over W minus Z, W plus Z. You can factor that time. Remember how I've been saying, don't bother factoring the top unless it makes something cancel. Well, this time it will. Can you see it coming? It will. How can I factor that top? Take out a negative 2. What does that leave inside? Z plus W. Everybody see that? Because the minus 2 would multiply and go back, wouldn't it? Over W minus Z. W plus Z. These cancel. Doesn't matter the order, right? The order of adding doesn't matter. Those cancel. So this problem is finally done, and it is minus 2 over W minus Z. What a problem. That's the final answer. The course just rose up a level, didn't it? It just got a little messier. All these kind of little things. This takes practice. This doesn't come to the casual student. This doesn't happen. This is why some students don't get bachelor's degrees. They don't feel like doing the work it takes to learn this. That's really just the truth. I just wish I could make that clear. You know that's it. I mean, that is it. Math is the number. Remember my first day spiel. Those are facts. Those aren't Mr. Aaron's opinion. Math is the number one thing that blocks people from getting a bachelor's degree across the board, more than race, gender, any other subject. Math. And why? It's just you can do it. You can, but will you? Will you? Like, I had to spend hours, and I'm a math guy, right? I came out of the womb, I just knew math. No. I had to spend hours and hours and hours doing math. I had to learn it. So you can do this, but it's going to take hours. There's Roberto is here. There he is. He's available in an hour. Speaking of hours, at 2 o'clock, right? Yeah. 2 o'clock today. Today's Wednesday, yeah. So 2 o'clock to 4, he'll be there. There's lots of help. There's other tutors as well. Roberto will be the best because he'll show you. He's got the experience to show you exactly the same way I'm showing you. So get the help you need. There's the YouTubes. You can watch these things over again. Right? Do what it takes. All right. The exam 4 coming up is the big separator. It separates the people, the passers from the failures. It really does. So make sure you're ready for exam 4. It's a tough one. All this stuff's just a mess. All right.